Dumb phone sales, also known as flip phones, have surged in sales entirely. Now, on average, here's the thing. 13 to 18-year-olds spend, hold on, can you guys guess? Take a guess without looking at the prompt here. What is it?
Oh.
70% of the time?
More, 70% of the time? So like more or less than 5 hours a day?
More.
More.
More or less than 6?
I would say around
More.
6.
More or
It's
less than 7?
More.
More.
More or less than 10?
Less.
Okay, all right. 8 hours and 39 minutes daily on mobile devices. Comparatively, baby boomers average about 3.5 hours on smartphones daily. Whether or not it's healthy to look at a screen that much, I don't think it's going to change in the next 20 years to be anything less. The question we're debating today is whether or not smartphones are sharpening our skills, making us smarter, or enabling us to become a little dull, or simply put, dumber. Joining me today is Brianna, active university student, and Junior, a entertainment executive, Mr. Galore, and Trish, who has been a high school teacher for how many years?
Almost 30 years.
30 years. And you say it's the most rewarding, fulfilling thing you can do.
I think so.
You get to change kids' lives. That's beautiful. Have smartphones gotten in the way of that?
I would think so, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So have you noticed there's been a huge difference between, when you got in your first 5 years versus now the last 5 years?
There weren't phones when I first started 30 years ago, so yeah.
So were
100%.
kids paying more attention in class back then?
Yes, absolutely.
You think so, really?
Yeah.
There wasn't like them, throwing spitballs at each other or anything?
There weren't. No. No, I don't think so.
Okay, so can you guys guess how many years of a person's life on average they will spend on a smartphone? Take a guess. Ready, go.
Well, it's got to be at least 10% of their life, I would say.
10% of their life?
I'd say 10 years.
10 years, okay. Brianna?
I'd say 12 years.
12 years? 12 years. 12 years. What would you give it 12 years of your life for?
Not a whole lot.
Not a whole lot?
Not willingly.
Vacationing?
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys this. Do you think smartphones take away from our lives, or do those 12 years enhance our lives for the other, let's say, hopefully 80 or 70 years?
Depends how you're using it.
Yeah.
Like if you're sitting at home all day, every day, playing video games, not doing anything productive with it, then obviously I think it's taking away from your life.
So let me ask you, what did you rely on growing up?
I was very outdoors. We were street hockey all day, every day. Good Canadian boy.
Yeah.
You'd have to pull us in by the collar to get us in for dinner and go to bed. And winter, summer didn't matter. So definitely not. I didn't grow up with a lot of video games either. Like I liked them, but we never played them. So
was it a common thing?
Video games, yeah. Friends had it, like Nintendo 64 growing up, everyone played, but we never really did. It was we were the group that liked to be outside.
And Trish, what was your entertainment back when you were growing up?
I had 7 brothers and sisters, so that was my entertainment. And we came in when the lights went off.
Really?
Yeah.
So when you were growing up, even like friends that you had, maybe with like 1 or 2 siblings, what did you guys do?
We played with each other in pools, and we were out on the streets all the time. Like, again, I'm dating myself a little bit, but we didn't have that. We played games. Board games were a lot of it.
Really?
You know what? I think maybe video games, Atari came out, and I think my parents maybe got us an Atari system when I was a little bit older.
Were they opposed to getting you the Atari system?
No, not really.
They didn't see anything really wrong with it. Okay, that's interesting. Now, let me ask you guys this. Like, comparatively, do you think that the time wasters of the 90s, so when we talk about like video games or comic books or whatnot, are they better or worse than what we have today? Call it time wasters, depending on how you look at it, but smartphones.
I think it's not really apples for apples. Like it's not as comparable, because I think the thing with a smartphone too is, although you're wasting time on it, it's also creating more time for you when used appropriately. You can use it to enhance your scheduling. You can, learn things quicker. You can look things up instead of having to go to the library to figure it out. So I think the time waster back then, if you were reading a comic, you might only have 20 minutes of free time because the rest of your life was very mechanical, where now it's very digital.
Now, how does it compare to how does it compare to television? Because I have an interesting stat here. In the 90s, children aged 2 to 11 watched an average of 3 to 4 hours of TV a day. So, is that better or worse than smartphones?
I suppose it depends on who the parent is and where they're putting their children. Like, we didn't have cable TV, so I wasn't put in front of the television.
Okay, I see. And was that most parents, or?
I guess it depends on the parent. I guess, and again, it depends on who's giving their child the cell phone. Like nowadays, I remember looking at a statistic for this episode myself, and they were saying, like, if you're putting giving your 6-month-old a phone, I'm like, who's giving their 6-month-old a phone?
Okay, we got to pause it right there, but we'll be right back.